Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 418. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is how to sell when you don't like selling. How to sell when you don't like selling. So selling obviously is the most important aspect of any business, but unfortunately, many entrepreneurs either don't like selling or aren't good at selling. And you know, without sales, you have no revenues, and without revenues, guys, you have no business. So we're going to get into that topic today. And it actually came up because I was talking to several of the BEB family members over the last few weeks, and I was kind of trying to diagnose what was going on with their businesses. And what I kind of found out is most of them, or several of them, were very shy when it came to selling. Not that they couldn't sell, but they just really weren't into it and they don't like to sell. So that's where today's topic came from. Now, before we jump into today's content, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and my resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Also, 2 platforms that I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. Now, when you go to the sites right now, they're still under construction. We're revamping and redoing the sites, making them a lot better, more aesthetically pleasing. So if you do go to the sites and you want to be a part of that, just put your email in and we'll notify you as soon as the sites are back up. Also, I do want to mention BEB Academy. We have an online learning portal that has all types of resources to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ, such as online courses, master classes, resources, templates, and the like. It doesn't matter if you're a new entrepreneur or an existing entrepreneur, and you can get 3 days free access to everything inside the academy at bebacademy.com. And last and certainly not least, I want to give you guys an opportunity to join this beta program that I just created. And let me just tell you how this came about. I'm in several mastermind groups, and a bunch of us were talking after the call last week. And many of us are coaches and business consultants. And we just started talking about what are some of the major issues or concerns that some of our clients or students have. And I didn't say anything at first, and I wanted to hear what everybody else said. And I'm telling you guys, out of the 6 people that were on this call, 5 of them talked about lead generation. And I know I talk about it a lot, but I'm telling you guys, it's imperative for you to create a lead generation system for you to be successful. So I've created a new beta program, and I want to tell you about it real quick. And hopefully you guys will join it. And let me tell you a little bit about it. It's really a no-brainer. You can get into the program for only $27, a one-time payment of $27, or I should say investment of $27. And it's a 5-day course with multiple workbooks, resources, and templates. Now, in this 5-day training program, I'm going to give you a quick and simple blueprint to create a money-making lead generation system that will exponentially grow your business. No leads equals no sales equals no dollars equals no business. I say this all the time, but that is the lifeblood of your business is sales. So who is this for? So if you currently don't have a database, yeah, this is for you. Okay, definitely for you. If you currently have a database, but you recognize that it's too small and not growing, you need to be in this program. If you understand that your income is a direct function of your database numbers, then you need to be in this program. Any business that needs qualified leads needs to be in this program. It's a no-brainer, guys. $27. Okay, you probably spend more than that on coffee for the month, probably for the week. All right. Now, here's what it entails. You'll have a full-blown lead generation system up and running in only 5 days. You're going to have your system up and running, and you're going to get one lesson per day for 5 days. And once you complete that, your system will be up and running. Also, you're going to build your system with no technical headaches and no crazy sales funnel software. None of that stuff. That was one of the biggest problems we also talked about, is a lot of people couldn't handle the tech aspect of building a lead generation system. You're also going to be able to identify and target your most profitable prospects. You're going to build your database and convert prospects into paying customers. That's what it's all about. And it includes multiple workbooks, templates, and additional resources. Guys, literally, this is a no-brainer. It's $27, and it is a beta program, meaning that it's a 5-day, gets stripped out every day for 5 days. At the end of those 5 days, guys, you'll have everything you need to have a simple lead generation system. Now, the reason it's $27 is because it's a beta. And what happens with the beta is I let people try it, then I get the feedback, and then I'll readjust the program to make it better based on the feedback. So once again, it's a limited time, only $27. And here's where you need to go to enroll. 5dayleadgensystem.com. The number 5, DAY, leadgensystem.com. I'm going to say it one more time. 5dayleadgensystem.com. It is a no-brainer. And I'm telling you, I'm more convinced now after talking to the other people in my mastermind that this is one of the biggest reasons that most businesses fail. You don't have a system to generate leads on a daily basis. And real talk, guys, if you're not generating leads on a daily basis, I'm telling you, you're not running your business at maximum efficiency. And I'm going to say this, and I know I say it a lot. The number one metric I look at every morning is not how much money is in my bank account. It's how many new prospects I put into my database based on all of my businesses. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in today's show. So go to 5dayleadgensystem.com to enroll. It's only an investment of $27. It's simply a no-brainer. So if you're having problems, you're not making the money that you need to be making, you need to be in this program. All right, let's jump into today's content, how to sell when you don't like selling. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the show, selling is the lifeblood of any business, okay? So we're going to discuss some strategies that'll make selling a lot easier for all entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter if you love to sell or if you have an aversion to selling. I know a lot of times people have a great product or service, but they may not be strong in the sales aspect. And many times when we start out, we're solopreneurs. We're the only person in the business, chief cook and bottle washer. So we have to be proficient at selling so we can stay in business and grow and scale the business. So the first thing we want to talk about, number one, is change the dynamic of a conversation. Change the dynamics of a conversation. And what I mean by this is inbound leads give you the upper hand. So when you make first contact, you're at a disadvantage. So say, for example, you're sitting at home and a telemarketer calls you, right? They don't know if you even want or need their product or service. So the first thing you are is you're defensive. Why are you calling me? I don't want this service or product or whatever. Get off my phone, right? Even though I'm telling you, I'm on the do not call list and I'm still getting fools calling me like crazy, even on my cell phone right now. And I got a cell phone blocker, a spam blocker, but it's crazy. So change the dynamic of a conversation. So when somebody calls you, when they raise their hand based on your marketing or whatever, your advertising and marketing, and they call you and they're talking to you about one of your products and or services, the dynamic of the conversation is totally different. Totally different. You are in control. Whoever makes that first call is at a disadvantage. So you need to change the dynamic of the conversation and start creating inbound calls or inbound leads. Okay? Outbound, or when you're the first point of contact, when you're reaching out to somebody, trust me, y'all, you're at a disadvantage, okay? Number two, and today's show is going to be pretty short, but it's going to be right to the point. Number two, position yourself as an expert. So by using content and other resources like, say, publishing a book, getting certifications or designations, you position yourself as an expert. Now, when people view you or see you as an expert, you have the upper hand. It's easier to sell. So, for example, if you go to your doctor and you tell your doctor what you're going to do, that's not going to work because your doctor is the expert and you know that. He or she knows more than you about medicine and about your health. So you know right away that that doctor is positioned as an expert based on his or her education level. So number one, they're already up there. So you know when you go into a doctor's office, you're just trying to get feedback. You know you don't know exactly what the doctor's talking about. Okay. And when I talk about positioning, and I've told this story before, but I got to remember, not everybody listens to every episode, even though y'all should. And there's some people, this may be the first episode. So I want to tell you a story real quick about positioning. Years ago, I was brought into one of the largest financial services companies in the country as a consultant. And they wanted me to sit in on their training program. And so now I'm not going to call the name of the company. It's really embarrassing because they're one of the top 5 financial services companies in the world. Actually, you know what? Probably in the U.S. They're probably top 10 in the world, though. And so as a financial consultant, where you get assets under management, I used to be a stockbroker back in the day, which was the previous name for financial consultant. Same thing. So anyway, I'm sitting there watching this training program, and one of the course instructors was talking about cold calling. And so they actually went through in detail how to cold call residents and businesses. And so now you're supposed to be a financial consultant managing millions of dollars, right? So what they're telling you to do, one of the tactics or strategies was you go into a nice neighborhood, you knock on the door, you step back 6 feet, you introduce yourself. Hey, I'm John Brown from blah, blah, blah. You know, I wanted to like to talk to you about your investments. Okay. So just picture this. You're sitting home on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever, relaxing, doing whatever you normally do. You get a doorbell knock or a ring on the doorbell, and it's some dude or woman out there in a suit talking about, I want to manage your money, and you're out here knocking on doors. How have they positioned themselves? And I told them, I said, you're positioning your people as a peddler. If you were truly good at what you were doing, you wouldn't be knocking on doors. You'd be in the offices managing millions of dollars. Okay? So the perception and positioning that you create is going to make a big difference when it comes to selling. So why would I invest my money with somebody knocking on my door that, number one, doesn't even know if I have money, number two, doesn't even know if I want or need their services, and they're wasting time? The second thing they taught was how to knock on business doors and try to talk to business owners. Once again, what's the perception of that? How are they positioning themselves? As a peddler. You're not positioning yourself as a professional. You're positioning yourself as a peddler. And when you do that, it's going to be hard to make sales. So number two, position yourself as an expert. And there's several ways you can do that. As I mentioned, you can have, all types of designations behind your name, doctor, MD, PhD, whatever. You can be an author. You can write a book. You can have all types of content out there. You could be well known in your industry. And these are ways to position yourself as an expert. So when Oprah used to have her TV show, the only type of people that would be on there would be athletes, entertainers, and authors, unless there was somebody that was in the news, current events. But those were normally the type of people there. And authors were seen as experts because they wrote a book. And what we're talking about today, guys, is how to sell when you don't like selling. And strategy number one is change the dynamic of a conversation where somebody is calling you and you're not calling them. Number two, positioning yourself as an expert and not positioning yourself as a peddler or something else lower. Number three, create automation to attract qualified prospects. That's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about the lead generation system, the 5-day leadgensystem.com. Create automation to attract qualified prospects. So using automation in lead generation makes people raise their hand and let you know that they're interested in your product and or service. What does that do? It changes the dynamic of the conversation. So if I see an ad on TV for life insurance, right? Oh man, I need to get some more life insurance. Let me go ahead and call this company up. So I'm calling them up and they're like, yo, you called me. How can I help you? Versus me calling them, hey, do you want any life insurance? You need life insurance? Totally different. So when you can create an automatic or an automation to attract qualified prospects, that definitely helps you sell when you don't like to sell or you're not good at selling. Okay. So let me just give you guys an example about one of my lead generation systems. So I have a physical product, right? And I just looked over the numbers before this episode because they're good. It's a good illustration of what I'm trying to talk about. And it's for one of my physical products brand. And so I got 172 leads in the last 15 days. So that's about 11 leads per day, which is pretty good for this product. And out of that 172 leads, I sold 27 units. So that's about 13.9% conversion or 14% conversion ratio, which is pretty good. And that generated me over $1,053 with no ad spend. I'm going to repeat that, with no ad spend. I generated that from my existing list. Okay. And that's what happens when you create automation to attract qualified prospects. Once I get them in that database, now they're mine, right? I can send them emails anytime I want. You know, they may tune into the podcast. Well, actually, I don't have a podcast for that brand, but they may get some other type of contact from me. You know, I send out videos, I send out emails, and I send out blasts and all that good stuff. So creating automation to attract qualified prospects. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have that database. And for that product brand, I have about 11 to 12,000 people in that database. And I have them tagged and I have them marked, but I created an automation. And here's the thing you guys have to understand too. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow burn. So for example, I just created another product brand and I've got social media on it and I got Instagram account, Twitter account and all that. And I'm spending literally $5 a day on Instagram and Twitter to build up that following. $5 a day for each platform to build up that following. And last week, I only put like 30 people followed me on Instagram. That's cool. But if I continue to do that for this year, next year, several years to come, I'm building up this contact list. Now, once again, let me get this straight and straighten y'all out. That is not a database. OK, because I don't own Instagram and I don't own Twitter and I can get shut down from that. But what I do is I take those likes and follows. And what I try to do is generate some content that's going to allow me to get their email address, such as a lead magnet. And now once I get them on that list, my email list, nobody can stop me from reaching out to them. That's what I want you guys to understand. So when you have that control, which is called owned media, I own the media, this podcast, nobody can stop me from podcasting. Email, nobody can stop me from sending email except the customers if they opt out. But nobody can say, yo, Jay, we shutting you down. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of them can shut me down. But guess what? I'm still going to be able to make money because I've built a database. I created automation to attract qualified prospects. And what we're talking about today, guys, is how to sell when you don't like selling. Either you may not be good at it or you just don't like it. It's not your strong point. Number 4, create no-brainer offers where people have to be damn near silly not to take you up on it. So create no-brainer offers. And you'll see these a lot with software. So for example, try this software free for 14 days. You know, don't even have to put your credit card in. And what they're hoping is that you'll go and try the software, like the software, get used to the software. And then when your 14-day free trial is up, guess what? You know what? I better go ahead and sign up because I've already been invested in this and I got some data in here or whatever. So it's almost a no-brainer. If you find out the software is something solid, something good that you think can help and benefit you in your business, and you try it and you like it, if the price is right and if the value is there, guess what? Then that's something that you'll probably do. It's a no-brainer, okay? So another thing that I use for one of my flat iron brands is I have a return policy, and it's 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. Meaning I've taken away the risk of purchasing this product. So if you don't like the product, you literally can send me back the receipt or give me your name and information. I can look it up. You can send me back the product and I'll refund the money. 100%. I don't care if you had it for 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years. And here's the key with that. Most people do not go through the trouble to go ahead and take advantage of those policies, that return policy. The probably 7 years I've been selling that flat iron brand, literally I may have gotten back 30 flat irons. And I've been selling a lot of flat irons, thousands upon thousands of flat irons over those years. A lot of people don't take the time. So it's almost a perceived no-brainer. Even though it is true if they send it back. But guess what? Most people won't even go through the hassle of doing it. So can you create a no-brainer offer where people damn near have to be silly not to try your product and or service? Okay. And number 5, have a great product or service with a good reputation and social proof. Have a good product or service with a good reputation and social proof. So if you're a salesperson or you own a business and you have a product or service with a great reputation, you don't really have to sell as hard because your reputation precedes you. So that's the way. That's why certain products don't need to be sold like a Porsche. So if you're in the cars, right? Either you want the Porsche or you don't want the Porsche. Either you can afford the Porsche or you can't afford the Porsche. It's not a question of quality. It's a question of, do you want this? Can you afford it? So a Porsche salesman is never going to have an issue with trying to tell somebody about the quality of the product or service. Okay? Because the perception and the reviews and responses that people have given who've bought and used those products or services. So if you have a great product and service with good reputation and social proof, hey man, it's easier to sell. So I look at a lot of people's websites and people that are selling products and services, and a lot of us are not utilizing social media, social proof, So if you have a brand and people like your product or service, hey, can you shoot me a quick 30-second video telling me how much you like my product, and I'll send you a free bottle or whatever for free for you doing that. So when you have a ton of social proof on your website or your sales page, that makes a big difference. So when somebody's investigating you before they buy your product or service, or before you try to sell them, they're going to see these people. Now, I get it. You can have all type of fake product reviews and all of that good stuff. You got people that you don't even know who they are, and you hire them on Fiverr or something like that, and they're out there, trying to basically sell the product or promote the product because you paid them X amount of dollars. That goes on a lot. But if you have true customers that truly believe in your product or service, leverage that. Reach out to them. You need to be doing this on at least once a quarter. Hey, I see you keep buying the product. I guess you like it, whatever. Can you shoot me a testimonial about why you like the product or service? And upload that to your website. So these are the things, guys, that can help you to sell when you don't like selling. And once again, it's all about positioning your product. Also, another thing that I forgot to put on there, and I talk about this a lot, is price versus value. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. And so when your price is perceived to be greater than the value of your product or service, you're not going to sell. So what you have to do is make sure that's flipped. So if you want to be able to sell, you have to make sure that your perceived value of your product or service is greater than the price. Okay, so people see value in your product or service. A lot of times we may think that, or we may have a great product. The problem is we're not conveying that to our prospects and customers, or to our prospects, really. And some of the reasons we're not conveying that is because we may not have testimonials. We may not have social proof. So it doesn't matter if you got the greatest product or service out there if nobody knows about it. So once again, price versus value, it's a seesaw. If the perceived value is higher than the price, you're going to make sales. If the price is higher than the perceived value, you're not going to make sales. And so you can make it easy on yourself when you're trying to sell. And we're talking about how to sell when you don't like selling. And I get it. If you don't like selling, you need to have a mechanism in place, or you need to have other people in place to sell your products or services. That's the lifeblood of your business, guys. If you don't have sales, guys, you don't have any revenues coming in. You don't have revenues coming in. And trust me, I've been there before. You don't have revenues coming in. You dying on the vine, man. When I had my mortgage business and the crash of 2008 came, we were rolling like crazy. We had millions of dollars coming in each month. We had several office locations. We had a credit repair business. But I'm telling you, when that financial crisis hit in 07, 08, man, everything dried up. So now we can't get loans closed because the credit crunch, they're tightening up credit. People with 800 credit scores were hard to get loans done for. And so now we still have these overhead. We have the expenses, the office, the employees, health insurance, all of that stuff. And we could ride it out for a while. We rode it out for close to 8-9 months. But after a while, you start looking in the bank account and that thing is dropping from, millions of dollars down to hundreds of thousands down to 10,000s. And you're like, it's a wrap. And so this can happen when your sales get cut off or you don't know how to generate sales. And even though if you're not good at sales and don't like sales, you have to have a system in place to consistently generate sales. And I just want to talk about this real quick, guys. When I talk about leads, I'm talking about qualified leads. I want somebody that's ready, willing, and able to purchase my product and or service. But you're not going to find that until they become a prospect. So when I had my mortgage business, we used to do a lot of outbound marketing. So we would do direct mail, email marketing, all types of lead generation. And so what I found out was that 30% of my sales, just say for the month of July, right? 30% of my sales for the month of July came from people that I first talked to 5 to 6 months earlier. So maybe in January and February. And so out of that couple $1 million a month that we were generating, a 30% chunk of that came from people that were already in our database. So once you have them in your database, guys, it's like, why don't you market to them? The problem is there are a lot of you right now that are listening that don't even have a database. And I'm telling you right now, it's a recipe for disaster. If you may have a database of customers, people that purchase from you, but you need a database of leads too, so you can convert those leads into customers. So if you're listening to me right now and you have no database, you need to be the first one to go sign up for 5dayleadgensystem.com. Trust me, trust and believe. 5dayleadgensystem.com. If you don't have a database, you need to come see me. All right. If you're not building a list, you need to come see me. If you're not cultivating a list, you need to come see me. If the first thing you look at every morning when you wake up isn't how many new people you put in your lead generation system, you need to come see me. I'm telling y'all this for a reason. I'm not telling y'all to talk. I'm telling you this is the major problem with businesses struggling or failing. So if you have a business right now and you can't make enough money or generate enough money to pay your bills in your business, put some money in your pocket, and live comfortably, you need to do something. Now, you may need to reassess and pivot in your business, or you may need to get your system together to generate leads on a consistent basis, 24/7, 365. Do you guys understand? When I started as an entrepreneur 20 plus years ago, these tools weren't even around. So if I wanted to generate customers, this is what I had to do. I had to advertise in the newspaper, which was expensive as hell, radio, television, magazines. And this is before the internet became the internet. And I'm telling you, it was so hard to get traction. Now you got people sitting in their basement in their underwear with databases of over 100,000 people. I literally, if you just took the time and built up an active database over the next 12 months, that's aligned with your product and or service that you sell, you will make money. If you're thinking about starting a business, the first thing you need to do is create a database. So while you're working on your business, trying to create your product or service or get everything together, you're building your database. This is something that I wish somebody would have told me years ago when I started. But it's so easy now with the technology to build a database. It's ridiculous. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand what it was like. You remember when your grandparents or great grandparents used to talk about, man, them days were hard. I used to, walk to school uphill both ways, all kind of stuff. My grandpop used to always joke around like that. But y'all got it easy with the technology, family. This technology is crazy, man. We got all types of software telling you what content is trending on social media. We got all type of instant notifications, things where you can reach out and DM people that you could have never thought about talking to before. It's crazy. Leverage and utilize that. So if you don't like to sell, create a system that will sell for you or hire people to sell for you. But all of that comes with scale. So when you're hiring somebody, you got to have the money to pay for them, right? You literally, if you create the correct automation, you can have so many different lead generation systems working where everything is coming in. So with my business, I have 3 different LLCs, and I probably have about eight or 9 different entities that I have lead generation systems for. Some of them overlap, some of them don't. But I'm telling you, every morning, that's the first thing I look at. And I can tell when I'm going to have a lapse or my money is going to go down, because there'll be a period of time where some of that lead generation stuff isn't working like it normally does. Sometimes you got to flip it up, and it's all about testing. I always talk about testing. You're a mad scientist. So you're going to try to create lead generation systems, different lead magnets and things like that. And some of them are going to work better than others. You got A/B split testing. So I do a lot of that. But I can tell, man, if I normally get in a month in this one business 500 leads, and 3 months ago I got 150 leads, I know that's going to catch up to me sooner or later. So once again, your monies is a direct function of your database. And I'm not talking about just having anybody's name in there. I'm talking about qualified leads, or somebody or a business or a person that has an interest in what you're selling. So I know, and I've done this before sometime just to test, but I've run giveaways, right? So to build your email list, and I keep those lists separate, totally separate. And what I found with giveaways is, now if it's something that's closely associated to what I'm selling, it's not that bad. But if it's something that's a little bit off, people will sign up for a giveaway just to sign up. So you want to get qualified leads. It's about being a scientist, guys, putting on that white scientist coat and really digging in and understanding what it takes to be successful. And I tell you one thing for certain, if you don't have any sales, you're not going to be successful. All right, that's the bottom line. And how do you prevent not having sales? Is by generating qualified leads every day, not 3 days out the week, 5 days out the week. And so when I say this, as entrepreneurs, especially if you have a small business or you're a solopreneur, you're the only person in your business. You can't be on the phone selling all the time. You're never going to be able to scale that way. So you have to create systems that are going to allow you to scale. And the first two systems that any business needs is a sales or lead generation system and a fulfillment system. How are we going to generate leads, and then how are we going to fulfill the sales? Because that's the lifeblood of your business. All these other systems people talk about, operations, I get it. You got to have that, especially in certain industries. But you can work on those systems later. Lead generation system and a fulfillment system. How do you fulfill those sales that converted from those leads? Those are the two systems. So before we close on out, guys, and hit this last bit of the show, I'm going to share my social media contact information and my resource links. But don't forget, guys, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. 5dayleadgensystem.com, a $27 investment one time. It's a 5-day program that's going to help you and teach you how to set up a lead generation system without all the sales funnels, without all that crazy tech stuff. And it's going to help you create a full-blown lead gen system, and it'll be up and running within 5 to 6 days. So the course gets dripped out once a day for 5 days. On that 6th day, you should be rocking. Okay? Identify and target your most profitable prospects. Build your system with no technical headaches, no crazy sales funnel software. Build your database and convert prospects into paying customers. And it includes multiple workbooks, templates, and additional resources. I'm telling y'all, this is literally a no-brainer. Literally a no-brainer. 5dayleadgensystem.com. Let me share my social media contact information with you guys real quick in my resource links. And I'm going to give you the abbreviated one today. Go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Everything that I'm about to talk about is there. So, for example, my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Go to anewblackwallstreet.com or the website, and it's $14.95 for the print version, $9.95 for the digital version. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show, BEB Academy. Get 3 days free access. Go to BEBacademy.com. You can read all about it on the website. Now, don't forget, the two platforms I've created are still under works again in terms of revamping the websites. BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com will be back up in a few days. If you go to the site and you want to be a part of the new revamped site, just leave your email in there and we'll get back to you as soon as it goes live. They both go live again. Also, guys, if you're into e-commerce, the pound for pound best e-commerce program on the market, Brand Builder Academy Elite, BBAElite.com. Once again, it's all on the website under Learn. Okay, check it out. It's a 15-week implementation program, and it doesn't matter if you're trying to start a physical products brand or a digital products brand. Doesn't matter. You can get the implementation, the creation, and ideation of your products and services, all the way up to selling on your site and other applicable websites. Okay, so go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com and go look under resources and learn, and you'll see all of that. Now, if you want to connect with me via social media, here you go. Anything long, family, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, JJones001, JAYJONES001. Instagram, I got 2 IG accounts. The first one is JJones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, family. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And yes, the show does come out on YouTube every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like it drops on all your major podcast platforms. Go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, hit that subscribe button. If you're on Clubhouse, connect with me there at I am J Jones. LinkedIn, J Jones, type that in, J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and you'll find me. And what else we got? I think that's it. Before we close on out, guys, I say this each and every week because I mean it. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I couldn't do this without you guys. The support that you show me is incredible, man. I just appreciate you guys so much. We're trying to get this good word out, and we're trying to build an economic power base in the worldwide black community by building and supporting black-owned businesses. Please share the information about the podcast, the new updated website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. We want that to be the location, the resource for black entrepreneurs. Check it out. It's a tremendous resource for you, and also all the BEB ecosystem. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.